another kind of serendipitous things that happened was that through a very complex and complicated, non-linear way, I found the access to these materials in Kiev, which was the archive of the the Cabinet for Jewish Proletarian Culture in Kiev. And Moisei Beregovsky, the ethnomusicologist who was the head of the ethnomusicology section of that cabinet, and his team were collecting Yiddish songs and folk stories from Soviet Jews in Ukraine from 1941 up until 1947. And they collected a tremendous archive. And they were arrested in 1948. They were arrested a little bit later, but the cabinet was closed in 1948, and all this archive was seized. And for a very long time, historians believed that it was gone. And when I came across it with the help of librarians and archivists of this manuscript department of Kiev National Library, I started reading it, and then I thought, oh my God, that's another Ringelblum. And because that's the story that I was getting. Yiddish songs about Pechora, Yiddish songs about ghetto and Tulchin, songs about serving in the Red Army, songs of Jewish refugees surviving the war in Kazakhstan, all in Yiddish. Or that song that I sang, a song about the women drafted from Chuvashia region to serve in the Red Army. And these songs were not known. Like they're very different from the other Holocaust music that we have. And some of the authors of the songs, then I started reading these annotations, and they often were not even collected by Beregovsky, but they were mailed by their authors in envelopes to Beregovsky. And you would get those annotations written by a 23-year-old man on his death march to Tulchin ghetto, or from Tulchin ghetto. And he sends that song, and that's how they get it. And when I'm reading those annotations, I'm reading those stories, that is, this is a life-changing material. And the problem with that material is that it's really not accessible. It's written in very poor handwriting Yiddish. The paper's deteriorating. And yet, people are writing those songs the last minutes before their death. And it's important for them to do that and to send it. Or they're writing the songs after they witness things they don't have, they could not imagine would be happening, like the acts of, the extreme violence or shootings and all this. And as early as August 1941, they start writing these songs. And it's interesting to think about, why don't they write the prose? Germans came, started killing. And why do they write poetry? Why do they write songs? And that's actually the paper I was talking about at AGS this year. And I think it's because the songs had the language they needed to describe it, because there's so many songs of violence, the pogrom songs that existed in Yiddish before that, the Khmelnytsky massacre and pogroms in Kishinev and that pogrom, and there's so many of them. So those new songs, they really relied on the language of these old ones in order to describe what was going on. So there's a song as a witness. So anyway, so there's this huge archive talking about all these experiences of Jews, talking a lot of humorous songs, tons of joking songs that say things like, when Hitler will come to power, when we get Hitler, we will hang him on a tree, and then on the left side we will hang Ribbentrop, on the right side we'll have Rosenberg, and there's a whole big thing. Or, there's a song called Shalachmones to Hitler, like Purim gets for Hitler, and it really kind of talks about you're not my first enemy. I've already had enemies like this. Antiochus, Turkvemad, Khrushchevan wanted to kill me, but they didn't succeed. So, like Antiochus, we know from Hanukkah, Turkvemad is the Inquisitor, Khrushchevan, the author of Protocols of Elders of Zion. So there's a lot of like history in those songs as well, but a lot of humor. And they're laughing at Hitler, they're laughing at the Germans, and there's something very powerful in that as well. So that idea of laughing laughter as a weapon is very interesting to me, and so all these songs that just like jumped on me, and now it's my material because it's really, really, I think it's life changing.